Hi guys, I'm going to continue here with process costing, the model that we're going to do to go over the second lecture. And I want you guys to continue with your first model that you built with the same business that you came up with and implement a second piece of it now. The second piece of this is now for process costing. So I'm going to give you the example using Living on the Edge, and we're going to start with this process here. So I'm selling surfboards, and what we're doing here is we're manufacturing the surfboards using three different aspects. We're using direct materials, direct labor, and factory overhead. And these are just the costs that I'm incurring. Now, the way this process works is I'm starting with 5,000 surfboards in my inventory, and my inventory currently consists of $50,000 of 100% complete stuff. My labor is $4,000 here, is 30% complete, and factory overhead is $2,500 and is 40% complete. So units started during June, that's 700 units that were starting during June, and units completed during June is 2,000. So I started 700 new surfboards, and I finished 2,000 surfboards ready to ship this month. So let's see here. So June 30th, the ending inventory, we had 3,700. And looking at the big picture here, we started off with 5,000 surfboards, added 700, and then we completed 2,000 surfboards, and ending inventory is now 3,700. So when you do this for your business, whatever it is, yoga mats or spa tickets or candles, think about the units that you're selling, how many you're making, how many are ending at the end of the period. And now we're moving on to looking at how many units got transferred out and the ending work in process. Now the ending work in process for equivalent units, whatever got transferred out is full units. So that's 2,000 for each one, materials, labor, overhead, no problem. Now for the ending work in process, for whatever is left over, we have to look at how complete it is. So we mentioned here that direct materials were 100% complete, direct labor is 50% complete, and factory overhead is 60% complete. So I just take the units, the total units that we have left, and I multiply it by the completion rate in these cells here. And then I arrive at the total equivalent units. For what was completed, which is just whatever we said was completed, and what's work in process is work in process. Now looking at the costs, and we know how this is the beginning cost that we had to begin with. Then we had the costs incurred during the period, which were given to us. And cost per equivalent unit is just the total cost incurred divided by the number of units. So when we do this division, we get equivalent cost per unit and then a total cost per unit. Now the whole idea is to find out how much cost do we assign to units that were transferred out versus units that are in work in process. So this is now easy because all you have to do is multiply the cost per equivalent unit times times the units that are remaining in the ending work in process. So the transferred out units we know is 44,000 that we transferred out. No, it was actually 2,000 that we transferred out. And we multiply that. So it's 2,000 for each piece that we transferred out. 2,000 times the equivalent cost per unit. And that's what was transferred out. Now for ending work in process, it's the unit that are in ending work in process times the cost per equivalent unit. So you could see now the cost that's remaining in inventory versus the cost that was transferred out. And now this gives us the idea of how much profit we made on these items, because whatever was sold. And now in big picture, I sold 2,000 surfboards, and I can say confidently that these 2,000 surfboards, the cost assigned to them is $7,200. So out of all this process, what I'm really trying to get to, how much money are you making from selling your cupcakes or yoga mats or spa equipment or electronics or whatever you guys had in your business? How would you possibly know how much money you're making? What's the profit margin? Well, for that we have to figure out the cost per unit, and then we also have to see how that flows through our process. So here we know that it's 72,300 that it cost me, and we know how much they're selling per unit from the prior class, so we now know how much revenue to book. So I want you guys to implement this for your model and hand it in as homework, and then we're going to go over it.